Imagine what would happen to you and your life if you were making $3,500 with your video business for the longest time, and then within a short couple months, you scale it up to over $10,000 per month consistently. That is exactly what David Aguilar was able to do, and in today's video, I want to present you his success story. All right, amazing. David, thank you so much for taking the time. It's been a pleasure working for you. I've worked with you for the last 6 months, and I'm loving to be here and share your story with so many videographers around the planet, because you've achieved some amazing stuff and are continuing to. So David, if you could please introduce yourself real quick. How long have you been making videos and where are you from?
Man, so my name is David Aguilar, also known as Ariel Austin here in Austin, Texas. We reside in Austin. Been a videographer for a little over 5 years now, but doing it professionally since 2021.
Since 2021. I mean, what's that, like almost 2 years?
A little over 2 years, I would say. Yeah.
All right, cool. So I remember when you joined the Video Business Academy in July 2022, you were at $3,500 a month on average in revenue. And since then, a lot has happened. Tell us what has changed since then.
Man, when we started the VBA, we were scraping by, like making 35, and for me, it was just as long as I can make money to pay rent, I was happy, that we can go out and enjoy ourselves, all that kind of stuff. But of course, with recession and all the prices going up on everything, I really felt the need of, we need to do more, right? And I don't think I understood what it was like to run a videography business. I only knew what it was like to be a videographer. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And so I could build the relationships and I can talk to the people and I could film and edit, but I didn't know the ins and out of what it took to actually run a videography business, from meeting with the clients, how to make yourself look more presentable, more professional, how to actually speak to clients in a way that's going to land you more deals. But more than that, I think the pricing was the most difficult part, trying to figure out, am I pricing too much? Am I pricing too little? Even like self-doubt, like, am I worth that much money? You know what I mean? And so ever since the VBA, I think one of the biggest things that's definitely happened within our business, and even myself, like my confidence level has just shot up. You know what I mean? Especially just being a part of a community with other videographers, and when we're a part of the live calls and you get to hear other people's struggles and problems that you could relate to, it really just makes you feel like, oh, I'm not the only one. But at the same time, when you see the other people's work on the VBA, and I'm not saying I'm better than them, but I would say I'm up to par with the majority of them. And I'm hearing these dudes closed $5, $10, $50,000 deals. I'm like, yo, like, I can do that. You know what I mean? So it was definitely a confident booster, in the sense that I didn't know what to do as a videography business. And all the steps that we started learning took us from making 3.5K to knocking out 5K a month, like consistently. And I think within the 6 months that we've been with the VBA, we've had about 2 months that we've surpassed 10K, and we've had 1 month that we almost hit 10K. So it's definitely been a game changer and a life changer.
Nice. That's amazing to hear. So when you say life changer, how has that impacted your life when you make that amount of money, when you make over $10,000 a month compared to what you made before?
Well, one, definitely the projects look better, right? Like, and this is something I've explained a lot to my clients. It's where you're paying more, not just because I want to make more money, but if you're giving me, let's say, $1,000, $1,500, well, my rent is maybe $3,000, right? So if you don't, if I need to land more clients, that means I need to do more editing, which means I don't have enough time to invest into editing your video, and it's going to come out mediocre. So being able to invest more times in creating better videos, one, gives me a better portfolio, right? But at the same time, makes my client happy. I think the biggest step that I took this is from the VBA as well, was hiring editors. Now, I love to edit. I'm one of these photographers and videographers that I love to edit. And in the last few months, I've been hiring editors to edit my videos for clients. And it's allowed me to spend more time with my wife, more time with my son. We talked about this earlier, but I'm training for a marathon. And so it's giving me more time to train, more time to, invest in my social media, YouTube. So now that I know, that I can hire trusted editors and it doesn't have to all rely on me, that was a big, big boulder that was on my shoulders. And I think hearing from the VBA, like, hey, it's okay that you don't edit all your stuff. Like, it's okay, I think that
Yeah.
was a big step for me. And but at the same time, it's also made me more creative, because when I see other people who are also talented editors edit my videos, it allows me to kind of step up my editing game, because I'm like, oh man, like, I didn't even think that I could do that with that video or with that style. I love the take you took, and then I get to take and learn from other editors as well. So one, it's affected me in my life, again, having more time with my wife and kid, but it's also it affected my creativity. Now, being a part of the community and hiring editors, it's kind of poured way more into what my creativity is going to look like.
Got it. Got it. So it's not just making more money, but that
Mhm.
results in having more time, becoming more creative, putting like having more creative outputs, better outputs.
Yeah,
And therefore your
hundred
clients are also
percent.
happier, right?
Yeah, and I think, and I'm sure you could relate to this, and other videographers and photographers and creatives can relate to this. When you are stressed out, it's really hard to create. You know what I mean? Like, when you're, or even when you're trying to edit one video and you're trying to edit it for 10, 12 hours, like, for a big project, you probably get burnt out after hour 2 or 3. And if you're still trying to chug along, you're not really making a good video. You're just trying to get by.
Yeah.
So being able to have more time to enjoy the sunrise and go out and eat, at all the amazing places we have in Austin, hang out with friends, be in the city. Well, now that's feeding into my creativity as well. So then when I go home and get on the computer to edit, I'm not stressed out. I'm not worried. I have this creative freedom now that allows me to create better content.
Nice, nice. Love to
Yeah.
hear that. So now that
Yeah.
you're here, you've hit multiple five-figure months where you made over 10K.
Mhm.
What's the next goal for you?
So the next goal, is of course the marathon. So that's going to be the next goal for me, and I'm going to document all that kind of stuff. But at the same time, growing our videography company. So me and this other gentleman, John, John, he's also a part of the
Of course.
VBA. We started a luxury real estate videography company here in Austin. And so what I would love to do is start building that team out more, getting other videographers, photographers, and drone pilots, so that we can make this into like a powerhouse business. Because I think one of my favorite things, apart from photography and editing, is also, dealing with clients. I love talking with clients. I love building these relationships. So I feel like if I can stack up our team to have better videographers and editors, then that allows me to build more client relations, which allows us to get more clientele, more business. And at the end of the day, I'm putting more money and food in people's pockets and mouths, which is
Mhm.
my ultimate goal.
Nice. I love to hear that, man. That's such an
Yeah.
incredible vision that you have for yourself
Mhm.
and also for your family and friends, which I absolutely love. So when you joined the VBA, I mean, I told you back then already, this is not like a
Mhm.
magic wand, right? It requires
Yeah.
work.
Yeah.
So what was that like for you? Because you still had to run your video business, you still had to make the
Mhm.
videos, still had to get clients. Yet, in addition to that, you had to learn all these new things in order to make your
Yeah.
business better. How was that for you, and how did you deal with it?
Man, so, and we had just had our kid, right? So our son was
Bingo.
about 4 months at the time when we joined the VBA. So it was definitely, stress level was high. You know what I mean? One, luckily, my wife and I also work together in the business, so she does a lot of the email, the getting the contracts together, talking with clients through the phone or text and all that. So luckily, I had her to help me with the majority of it when it came to learning a lot of this stuff. But man, it's not easy, right? Anything that actually takes learning takes dedication. And what dedication means is that you have to set aside the things that you would normally do. You know what I mean? So being a part of the VBA put me into the perspective of, if you really want to grow this business, then you really need to learn these steps. Because, and you talk about it, Diego talks about it, Josh, everybody in the VBA talks about it, that the progress that you want to see is only determined by the energy that you put into it, right? You're not gonna become a millionaire or grow a videography business just by making good videos and sitting on your couch. There's so many steps that actually takes to it, from, like I said, the pitch decks and the video pitches and all that kind of stuff. I mean, it takes work. But at
Yeah.
the end of the day, if you really want to grow your business, then you have to put in the work. But at the end of the day, again, and I'm a testimony of this, like, I'm less stressed than I was when I first started the VBA, because again, if I'm making 3.5K a month, and my rent is 2K, and then I have to put food on the table and pay these bills, well, that only leaves me with so much money that I'm stressed out, and I'm fiending for clients. But
Mm.
now I actually turn away clients, right? Like, and
Nice.
it's funny because, like, one thing that we learned in the VBA, it's when we communicate with the clients, we say, hey, we're going to talk to you first to see if this is a good fit for both of us. You know what I
Exactly.
mean? And there's so many times where I would say that, and it was bull crap, right? I didn't really mean it. It was like, I'm just saying it so you could think that you really need me. But being a part of the VBA has allowed me to turn down clients, because it's like, you know what? I don't want to spend time and stress with this client. And
Mm.
even their budget isn't worth it. And I get to turn those away. And at the same time, I get to pass those on to my other friends who are creatives as well. So the client still gets what they want, but now I'm in a way more peaceful situation. I get to work with the clients I want to work with, right? I love doing barbecue. I love doing, like cars and liquor and all that kind of stuff. So I get to do more of the fun jobs
Mhm.
because I'm not so dependent on the client anymore. I'm not so dependent on somebody's budget. So now being able to turn away clients, it's pretty cool, because a few months ago it was like, any job I can get, any video, any client that I can get, I will do that job. And now it's just kind of like, you know what? I don't really need this one. And my wife and I are already talking about taking a vacation, which I'm
Nice.
not a big vacation guy, but it really is, it it's really satisfying when you get to plan those kind of things. You know what I mean? To
Yeah,
say, hey, we can take 2 weeks off. We can take a week off. We can take
100%.
this time off,
You're in a
and
totally
again,
different state of mind,
happy
right?
wife, happy life.
Happy wife, happy life. You're in totally different state of mind. That is a totally different energy as well that you
Yeah.
display and bring into your day to day. So
Yep.
I can feel it even when you
Yeah.
talk to me the first time, right? And now you feel
Yeah.
so, you seem to be so lighthearted and everything is like,
Yeah.
fuck man, I'm positive and things are going well, and it's
Yeah.
nice to see. Really love that. So I mean, as you know, we're growing, right? We have more and
Hmm.
more people in VBA, and therefore I also have way more brand reach. So
Yeah.
I'm
Yep.
growing on Instagram, I'm growing on YouTube, on Facebook, etc. So more and
Hmm.
more skeptic people come up, haters come up, right?
Yeah. It's gonna
Now
happen.
let's exactly. So let's say somebody watches this who is very, very skeptical, thinking like, oh, that
Hmm.
VBA thing, it looks nice, but it seems too good to be true. This Nick Metzger
Hmm.
guy, I don't know if I can trust him. What would you say to such a person?
Man, you don't know what you're talking about, right? Like, if someone would say that to me, like, oh, it's just one of those scams. uh the proof is in the pudding. I don't know if you ever heard that saying, but the proof is in the pudding. You need to really try it to experience what's really going on. And if you can, I think that's why these kind of videos and testimonials are so good, because you know it's only too good to be true, if you don't put in the work. and
Mm.
that and that's where so much of this comes in, is if you're not willing to put in the work, then nothing's going to work, right? It's like
Yeah.
in fitness. If you want to lose 100 pounds, but you don't want to go to the gym, you don't want to diet, you don't want to be strict about what you're doing and where you're going and how much like alcohol you're drinking, well, you're never going to lose those 100 pounds, and you're always going to be like, oh well, those fitness people, they're just liars because nobody could be that fit. Well, that's not true, because there's really people that fit. And the same thing comes for the VBA. The reason that I would say, hey, you need to try it, is because look at all the people who have been successful in the VBA. Look at the stories that are in the VBA. Look at the lives that are changed because of the VBA. And that's one thing that I've really enjoyed about being a part of it, is when I hear these stories from somebody who was in it for 6 months or for 3 months, and they're like, hey, I landed this 10K client, I landed this 20K, this 50K deal. For me, I would say, "Oh, you're lying." But then I see the photos, I see the smile on their faces, right? I see on the Facebook group, "Hey, we got another win, we got another this, we got another that." So for somebody who thinks that way, or for the haters who think that way, they're just ignorant, because I think they're afraid of success. I think
Mm.
those kind of people look at success and are afraid of it because they don't have the discipline and the energy to put into that. And I would say, you need to try it before you're talking smack about anything. You know what I mean? My wife thinks, me and my wife started dating. She would always be like, "Oh, but let's go to like a sushi restaurant." I'm like, "Oh, sushi is disgusting." And she'd be like, "Have you ever tried sushi?" No, I never tried. Right? And I say that thing all the time. "Oh, this is gross, or that's gross, or this movie sucks." I've never seen it, never tasted it, never been a part of it. And so I think the people who are the haters out there about the VBA, I think they're just jealous at the same time, right? They're jealous at, someone who may only be a videographer for 2 years, 5 years, making more money than they've been making for the last 10, 20 years. You know what I mean? And I think we respond a lot out of our insecurities. And I think people who hate have a lot of insecurities, and that's why they're haters.
Yeah, I mean, perfectly put. Perfectly put. I couldn't say it better, man. It's so true, 100%.
Yeah.
So for your journey now, I mean, you want to
Mhm.
build an agency, you want to build a team, right? You want to have an
Yep.
impact on as many people as possible. So what is your plan to do that? First of all, yes, you can grow the agency. That's one part of it. But then also you said you want to grow your personal brand. You want to start putting out more content on social media to inspire more
Mhm.
people. What's your plan on doing that?
So the plan is creating this content around the fitness goals that I have. So one, creating content around the marathon that I'm going to run. The first time I've ever ran a marathon, I'm not in marathon physique. So it's 26.2 miles that I'm going to run. And it's impossible, right? Every time I tell people that I'm going to do it, they laugh at me, and I'm like, I'm with you, because I'm not in that shape. But I think, again, I love motivating people. And so I have 3 weeks to get ready for it. So creating content around that. Then I'm going to do another fitness goal. A friend of mine who's a bodybuilder, he's going to train me, and I'm going to try to get a crazy physique in 3 months or less. And it's documenting all that, because I think where social media is going now is towards vulnerability. People
Mhm.
want to see the struggles, people want to see the grind, people want to see the behind the scenes. And so I
100%.
want to create that kind of content, not just around fitness, but even around business. And I think the reason I can do that now is because the VBA has given me so much confidence in being able to run a business. Like, before, I would have people blowing up my Instagram and my YouTube and being like, man, how do you charge, or how do you this, and how do you that? And I couldn't answer any of those questions because I did not know. I
Mhm.
didn't know the answer. But now I have people, hitting me up, and I'm just kind of like, I always send them over to the VBA. But at the same time, I also tell them, like, with confidence, well, this is how much we price, and I break it down for them, and I show them our price sheets sometimes if they're a friend of mine. But it's like, I'm no longer feeling like a fraud. I don't feel like a fake. I feel like an actual business owner who knows exactly what he's doing, and I could walk into any room and in any situation and carry that confidence with me because of what the VBA has taught me in the last six
Love
months.
that. Love that. Yeah, I mean, the confidence is definitely a big part that we hear
Yeah.
often from people that has increased and boosted their confidence. Have you also met people in real life that you got to know in VBA, or have you connected with them online?
Yeah, a couple of people, so the other thing that I love about the VBA is, if you're, because we have the once a day now, you guys are cranking out all these meetings, and you could practice pitch decks and all that kind of stuff. But with multiple, I think it was two or three other people on the VBA, when I would have a pitch deck for a client, we would hop on a phone call, and they would pretend like they were the client, and we would, run through the pitch deck, and we would give information back and forth. Hey, I like this, I don't like that. Maybe your client you could say it this way, or you're offering too much, or you're offering too little. So yeah, man, being a part of the VBA connects you with people who want to see you grow as well. And that's the other thing I really liked about it, because there's no, like, nobody has secrets in the VBA. Like, we're not like, oh, I don't want you to see
Yeah.
what I'm doing, or I don't want you to see this and that. Like, everybody's so open, which, again, the cool part that I liked about it is when I have had those meetings, are like, oh, actually, I had the same situation with a client of mine, and I said this, and they responded in this way. I talked to Nick, or I talked to Diego, and they said I should have responded this way. And then they're also giving us information with their struggles before we even get there. So to me, the community that the VBA builds is so crucial if you want to grow a business, because you could be learning from other people's mistakes, and that's going to get you ahead of your business 5, 10, even 20 years. You know what I mean? Like, if you could overcome the hurdles before they even come to you by learning from other people's mistakes or other people's handling with clients, you're just saving yourself time, because you're not having to go through that hardship yourself.
100% agree.
Yeah.
100% agree. So I wonder, what would you say to your pre-VBA self, to the videographer that you were like 6 months ago,
Yeah.
compared to where you're at now?
I would say it's going to get better. right? I think starting the VBA and going into it, just like everybody, everybody has doubts, right? Especially if it's like a new situation, but it isn't just doubts about the money that's being spent or the program that it is. It's also doubts with ourselves, right? Like, am I really going to be able to make 10K a month? Am I really going, right? Like, you hear all these stories and you hear these testimonies and you're just like, yeah, but that's not going to happen to me. Like,
Mm.
they're lucky, I'm not lucky, or they have good luck, I don't have good luck. um but so what I would tell myself, it's like, man, it gets better, because after the first, I would say, 3 or 4 weeks, I just felt like I uncovered like a treasure. You know what I mean? Like, I like there was a secret that I didn't know about, and now the secret has been revealed, and it's like, oh wow, like this isn't as hard as I thought.
Yeah.
So it gets better and it gets easier. You know what I mean? Like, after doing after going through the VBA, but following the steps, being a part of the phone calls, doing everything that the VBA tells you, it gets a lot easier dealing with clients, because it's almost like when you go to the gym and you're trying to curl 30-pound weights, but you're starting at 5 or 10, right? It's like, okay, I can only lift 10 right now, but 10 goes to 15, 15 goes to 20, and then you move up to 30, and those 30s feel kind of light. That's the same way it feels with the VBA, week after week, day after day, meeting after meeting. It gets a lot easier. The anxiety gets easier. I know I've heard so many people on the VBA be like, I'm so afraid to talk to people. I'm so afraid to talk to clients. I don't want to make the phone call. I don't want to do the text messages. But you guys push us to do it because you know the result that's going to come for it, right? The emoji. Everybody in the VBA knows about the emoji, the waiting, sending the meme or the emoji.
Yeah.
And clients respond to that. Clients take those things and they're like, oh, I've done that before, where to a client, I was waiting almost 5 days to hear back from him. So I sent him an emoji of a skeleton waiting. And he's like, oh man, I'm so sorry, this and that. And we ended up closing the deal like a few hours later. And it's because you guys recommend, hey, sometimes be humorous with your client if
Yeah.
they don't respond to you, because, hey, if they're not going to hire you, they're not going to hire you. At least you're being funny about it. You know what I mean? And
100%.
so I've loved even seeing other people grow in the VBA, because so many of them are like, I don't want to call, I don't want to talk, I don't want to this, I don't want to that.
Yeah.
But then you see them week 2, month 3, and they're like, I said this to this client, or I made this client do this, or this client this and that, and you just see their confidence grow, which again makes your confidence grow as well, because you're like, man, they were super shy in the beginning, and now they're like doing pitch decks like nobody's business. I want to do that too.
Nice. Yeah, it's exactly that. I 100% agree. It's just the personal growth that comes with it.
Mm-hmm.
It's not just like, and that's the intention of it. It's not that you should just learn about business, but you should grow as a
Mm-hmm.
person and become a better person as a result of that. You just said that we pushed you, and also we of course push all the students very, very hard. Did you feel
Mm-hmm.
sometimes that it was too much of pushing? Did you feel uncomfortable, or what was it for you?
I would say the uncomfortable feeling came from trying something new, right? It wasn't that you guys were pushing too hard, or it wasn't that you guys were saying the wrong thing or being mean about it. It was moving outside of the comfort zone that was uncomfortable. You know what I mean? But again, I started moving outside of the comfort zone, and once I started, whether it was right, like, I didn't really enjoy having Zoom meetings to
Mm-hmm.
me, because especially here in Austin, everybody wants to meet at a coffee shop, everybody wants to meet somewhere. But the one thing that I love, that I learned about the VBA, is don't waste your time meeting with people in person. Set up a call, set up a Zoom call. Which to me, I'm like, oh man, but like, I'm really good in person. You need to see me in person, right? It's like, it's like a show, it's like a Broadway show. You need to see it in person. But you know going from, man, I could only have one meeting today because it's going to be out in 30 minutes away from Austin. I got to go meet with this person. We're going to have an hour and a half conversation. Then I got to drive all the way back. It leaves you less time to actually meet with people. But hopping on the phone and doing Zoom calls, I could do 4 or 5 of those a day. And so again, to me, that was one way that I had to move outside of my comfort zone, which was get on the Zoom call, tell your client what they need to hear, or say, close the deal, whether or not it's good for you, right? Like, either you get the yes or you get the no.
Yeah.
And that was another thing that really motivated me was sometimes I like the whole potential client, and it's like we're texting back and forth, right? It's like you're meeting a new girl and you're like, oh, are we gonna date? Are we gonna not? But the thing about the VBA that was really helpful was, hey, get the yes or no and then get out. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Either they're gonna work with you and they're gonna be within your budget and you're gonna do the job, and that's great, or they're not gonna work with you because their budget isn't something you want, and then you get out. And that's the thing that I've really enjoyed. It's helped me not waste any time. It's
Mm.
like, okay, you're my client, we're gonna knock this out. I'm sending you your email, we're closing the deal, no worries. Or you know what, it's not gonna be a good fit. Thanks a lot for talking. I appreciate you. Maybe for something else, maybe if your budget gets bigger, you know. And those are the things that I've really enjoyed learning in the VBA is not only how to land clients, but also get back some clients. You know, one thing you guys always recommend is go after the low hanging fruit.
Yeah.
Somebody like your video, make them another one. Did somebody like this thing that you did? Make them another one. Like, you don't only have to work with one client once, like, and then you start building retainers. And so all of those things were scary for me at the time because I felt so inadequate. I just felt like, oh man, could I really do this? Am I really that kind of person? But
Mm-hmm.
I'll say it again, the confidence that you build in the VBA. And again, it's not just because you look at yourself as a badass, but you end up seeing the end product of the VBA after you're having all these meetings with people, talking with people, seeing the achievements. The Facebook group is really big, and all of that builds into you this, I'm a part of the VBA. Like, this is what we do, right? People in the VBA, this is how we get clients. This is how we talk to clients. Again, it isn't like you're an asshole or a jerk. It's confidence. You have this confidence saying, I know what I'm doing. I know how to say it. And I know that I can accomplish it. And you just walk away with this huge confidence on your shoulders that you can do anything.
Yeah, 100%. So let's assume this somebody watches this video, right? And they're like, yeah, this David guy, he's for sure a paid actor. Where can I find you online?
All right, so my social media is gonna be at Ariel Austin. It's on YouTube, on TikTok, and on Instagram. At Ariel Austin, you can see I'm not a fake. I do YouTube videos talking about everything that I do, from flying drones to editing to real estate. I try to be an open book, you know what I mean? And again, that's one reason why the VBA has helped me so much, is because the one place that I've always wanted to be open with people is business and entrepreneurship, but I'd never felt the confidence to talk about those kind of things because I never felt like a business owner. Being a part of the VBA has now given me this confidence that I could be more vulnerable in teaching people how to run a business or how to be a part of a business or how to talk to clients, because all the steps that I learned a part of the VBA has given me that confidence. So you can follow me on any of those social medias at Ariel Austin. And, like I said, I just want to be a source of knowledge. I want to be a source of inspiration, and I want to be a source of positivity for people. And so, the VBA really has helped in that area of my life, which is business, to get more and more confidence out of it.
Nice. Well, David, I'm so proud to have you as a student and seeing your success, and looking forward and can't wait to see you being even more successful and build a team and have an impact on your friends, family, and life around you in general. So congratulations, and thank you so much for taking the time, man.
Yeah, bro, thank you so much, man. Like, just a big thank you to you and Diego and everybody in the team. Like I said, I think the guys you have on the team are great because I think they're a really good reflection of who you are and what the business is all about. Because, and I'll say the last thing I want to say is the mindset calls that you guys started doing have been game changers. You know what I mean? Like, because one thing that you guys have really pinpointed is running your business isn't just a numbers game, it's a mind game. And so being a part of the mindset calls really changes your mindset, which also affects your business, which also makes you more and more successful as the years go on.
So true. So true.
Yeah.
What a way to end this. Thank you so much for taking the time, and we'll talk
Awesome,
soon.
brother. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you so much for watching. Now, if you want to have the same success as David has and you want to finally get to these juicy $10,000 months, then you should be checking out this free video that is linked right next to me. It's an absolutely free training about the Video Business Academy consulting program, where we help videographers, creators just like you, making more money, showing you how you can run a profitable video business and finally never worry about financials again. So if that interests you, go just watch that right now. And by the way, we have a 100% success guarantee. Go check it out.